Hey, what's up, you guys? It is time for my review of Peter Pan Live. I actually don't know if I would call this a review of Peter Pan Live as much as I would call it like thoughts that I had while watching Peter Pan Live. So hopefully you enjoy my opinion. I know a lot of people grew up on the Mary Martin version. I actually really grew up on the Kathy Rigby version. I went to see her live and I bought the VHS tape. And that will always be, to me, my opinion, the greatest version of Peter Pan that there is. Kathy Rigby was so perfect, and being an Olympic gymnast made the flying like a million times cooler. So that will always be my favorite version. I know a lot of people that were reviewing it said that they didn't like it because the show starts off too slow. Because it does, like most musicals start off with like a big opening number, and Peter Pan's like, go to bed, tender shepherd, night, lullaby. But it's not the only show that starts off slowly. I mean, Wizard of Oz starts off the same way. I mean, not that it's bedtime, but I mean it's very calm beginning. Starts with Somewhere Over the Rainbow is the first song that's sung, which is a nice little pretty ballad. And people love that show. Nobody seems to be complaining about that slow beginning. I think that when it comes to shows with like magical places like Oz and Neverland and, you know, things like that, you kind of have to start off a little bit more calm and slow, because otherwise when you got to the magical land, it wouldn't really seem that magical if the beginning was real big and flashy. So basically the show opens with like this like mini version of London that they shoot to make it look like they're shooting like from really high up, which is really, really cool. And kudos to the set people for that one. That's awesome. It's kind of weird that Hook and Mr. Darling aren't played by the same person, but he's so good as Mr. Darling that I'm kind of okay with it. This is the first production of Peter Pan to ever use a real live dog, and I have to say, that made my life. That dog was gorgeous. That dog was smart. That dog didn't miss a beat. I vote yes on live dogs for more Peter Pan productions in the future, especially if they're going to be as awesome as that dog. So, kudos to the dog trainer and the dog. I thought it was really interesting that they set it at Christmas time, because it is kind of a Christmas special, and the nursery was decorated for Christmas, which I'd never really seen a production of Peter Pan that had done it that way before, and I liked that a lot. I thought that was really cool. Personally, I think that the show would have been better if they had done it in a theater with a live audience, like sold tickets, instead of doing it in a soundstage, because there's so many funny jokes that weren't there, and I don't know if they weren't there because the script was different, or if they weren't there because they knew that there was no live audience to feed off of, and so it'd be awkward to do those kinds of jokes when there's nobody like there to laugh. But I think that if they continue to do this live experience, which I really hope that they do continue this, because I think it's fantastic that they're bringing live theater to people who might not otherwise get to see live theater, but I really think they should do it in a theater with an audience, because it's so much. As an actor who has done Peter Pan, who has done The Sound of Music, I mean, that would make like a world of difference to be able to feed off of the audience, because when the audience is energetic, it gives you more energy too, and I think it would have really made Peter Pan, and even Sound of Music last year, I think that would have improved it so much more to have that live audience. Why did the Darlings not fire that maid? Like, he's like, oh, the maid will be with the children, and she's like, oh no, she'll fall asleep. It's like, if you know she always falls asleep, fire her. She's obviously not that good. Maybe other versions have done this before, but I'd never seen it done that way, where they kind of went into Distant Melody in the end of Tender Shepherd with the mom, because it's like foreshadowing, and then it's like, you know, long ago this song was sung to me. It actually was, like, at the beginning of the show. Oh my god. Peter's entrance was cool. That, like, he just, like, was, like, from the night sky, came out of nowhere, so that was awesome. Peter wasn't crying when they kind of needed to be crying when the shadow comes off and he can't get it to stick with the soap, and he's, like, sad, and she's like, boy, why are you crying? And I was like, well, he wasn't, Wendy. The hallway scene was interesting. It was nice to see a little more of the Darling house than just the nursery. That was kind of cool. Ow, John and Michael. Nothing wakes you guys up. Where do you live? Second to the right and straight on till morning. Second what? Second what? Second star. Second star to the right and straight on till morning. Is that what they put on your letters? Second to the right. Second planet. Second. Probably a mistake. Probably shouldn't have pointed that out. Sorry, Allison. Okay, this line has confused me. It's in like every version of Peter Pan, and it doesn't make any sense to me. When she goes to touch him and he's like, don't touch me. No one has ever touched me, except later in the show when we do dances and we have dance breaks and Michael jumps on my back but you can't touch me because no one has ever touched me. Apparently nothing really does hurt Peter, because he was like, nothing hurts me, and then she started sewing on that shadow and he was just like, so The dancing shadows in I Got a Crow were pretty cool. I liked that. That was interesting. Oh, now just like, John Michael, wake up, and they're up. Oh, well, the maid came in to check on them, so I guess she's alive after, you know, we caught her dead in the closet, sleeping. Why are the wires so noticeable when I'm flying? Michael's got like a humpback going on because the thing was like pulling his shirt like that, and I was like, oh, why? I mean, Kathy Rigby did the show. You couldn't see them at all. I don't even think you could see them when Mary Martin did the show. Why were they so noticeable? No, not feeling the wires. Not a good review on that particular song because the wires were too noticeable for my taste. And I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, what do you expect? You know, they're not really flying. But it's like, I've seen other versions, I've seen live versions, I've seen TV versions, I've seen VHS tape versions from the past where they couldn't see anything, so wires were a little disappointing. Does anybody know, by the way, why they changed the words in I'm Flying, Wendy's line, where it's like, fishing, hopscotch, candy, and she didn't say hopscotch, she said dancing. Did kids not play hopscotch anymore? Is that why they changed it? Oh my god, how old am I? The hook was kind of noticeably not really attached to his arm. It should have been a little bit more long, I think, here, so that it wasn't so obvious that it's like, hey, I'm holding a fake hook in my hand. This isn't real. My hand's under here. So, just my opinion again. I really enjoyed the new pirate song, I think it's called Vengeance. It was really cool. It had a lot of tap dancing, which I enjoyed because that's my favorite style of dance. So watching pirates tap dance was awesome. I enjoyed that. Smee's costume, not feeling that so much. He was one of those, like, most cool looking pirates, and I don't really picture cool when I think of Smee. I picture more like bumbling, but he did a good job, but just the costume was a little too hardcore for Smee, in my opinion. I didn't know Hook could leave Neverland. I thought he was kind of stuck there, because I thought you had to fly there and Hook can't fly, and so that's why he's like, well, I'm going to kill Peter so I can live in Neverland without having to deal with that annoying kid. But apparently he can leave, so why don't you just leave? Just leave, Hook. Like, why you gotta ruin Neverland people's lives? Just go home, make a sandwich, you know, chill. You don't have to, like, you could have left before Peter even cut off your hand. That's on you, dude. If you can leave and you're just not bothering, I mean, really. Really. I mean, even Wendy knows later to take the hint that Peter's not that into her and she leaves, so, I mean, that's all you really had to do if you can leave. Really liking the Neverland set. I enjoy it. It's so pretty. Oh my god, I want to go to Neverland so bad. And the map on the floor is so cool. Starring the entire cast of Newsies as the Lost Boys. Lost Boys costumes, I'm not feeling that so much. It kind of looks like they went to the Sound of Music costume room and were like, hey, remember these from last year? Let's just throw these on those guys and it'll be a costume. I thought they should have been more like islandy, I made this myself type of stuff, kind of like Peter. They kind of had some Ravenclaw colors going on in there. Maybe all the Lost Boys are Ravenclaws. They go to London and attend Hogwarts. The end. Tell us the end of Hamlet. Hamlet? Prince Hamlet died. And the king died. And the queen died. And Ophelia died. And pretty much everyone in this whole entire story died. But the rest of them lived happily ever after. Yay! Awkward. How did the Lost Boys even know what Hamlet is to ask that question? That's the best part. Oh, that scene is hilarious. They changed the words, too, in the pirate song. Because the original words were, we're bloody buccaneers and each a murderous crook. We massacre Indians, kill little boys, and cater to Captain Hook. And they changed it to, we terrify natives and scare little boys. I guess they probably wanted to use the word natives, and they probably didn't want to mention killing children. Makes sense. Hook, you don't seem that bothered that you're sitting on a really hot mushroom, burning your butt, and you seem just like, oh, it's hot. It's very hot. I might get up. I loved it when Smee was just like blowing on him, and he's like, that's quite enough of that, and he's like, we're on fire. We're not going to explain that the mushroom is the chimney to the hideout. We're just going to keep going, the hideout, we found it. We found the hideout. Like, because little kids aren't going to get that that's supposed to be a chimney. But alright, well, it's fine. Did Hook's mic get turned off on that last note of that song? Because he was like, one by one, they'll... Silence. Oh, live theater. I thought they were going to build a lovely little house for Wendy. Let's be quiet as a mouse and build a lovely little house for Wendy. Only not really. We'll just clean the one we have. You know, for a bunch of boys who are messy and never do anything to clean and they just run around and play in the mud, they certainly have a lot of cleaning products. Why is there like a spiral staircase with a big pile of books if none of them know any stories? Like, pick up a book, there's a story. You don't even need Wendy. Unless we're going with that they can't read. In which case that makes more sense. But still, they got like a whole pile of books there, and they're like, oh, none of us know any stories. It's like, there's books right in front of your face, right where you live, on your staircase. Like, geez, boys, just pick up a book. You don't even need to uproot Wendy's life. I love the dancing. Oh my god, the Lost Boys dancing is so cool. They're so good. Oh my god, it makes my life complete. How many Newsies does it take to fill a bathtub? Find out by watching Peter Pan Live. Was that Hook just then in the commercials? Just holding out a note there? That made my life. They changed I Won't Grow Up. And Wendy did John's part, and John did the other boy's parts, where he was just like a boy, and Wendy was singing his part. I'm not good with change, but I actually kind of liked that Wendy was in I Won't Grow Up, because I kind of felt bad that she always was like not in that song, because it's so much fun. I mean, she's still kind of the stick in the mud, but at least she's in it. Wendy, your nightgown, it's falling off there. It's getting higher over here, and I didn't even know the top unbuttoned. What did you do? Chop it up? Like, what is happening to your clothes? Why are you getting naked? That's not Peter doesn't care. John and Michael changed their clothes. That's interesting. That's interesting. I am so impressed that, like, nobody dropped a teacup. Like, oh my goodness gracious, that's amazing. Although Allison dropped the saucer, fell off her head, but she covered it really well. That kite just crushed that pirate's dreams. Oh my god, he's my favorite pirate. Official favorite pirate right there. I like Wendy's new song. I mean, obviously I do, because it's been stuck in my head for an entire week now. And I have to go learn the words, because there's nothing more annoying than when you have a song stuck in your head that you don't know the words to. I kind of feel like Hook is kind of, what's the word, like bumbly a little bit, like a fumbling old man. And it kind of makes me feel like, instead of being like, yay, Peter Pan, I'm kind of like, Peter, why are you being such a jerk to this poor decrepit old man? Sorry, that's mean. Shouldn't have said that. I do like the dancing, so maybe we just turn the whole thing, just like, make it like a Rent, where it's just all singing and dancing, so that Hook can just tap dance all day, because that would make me happy, because I enjoyed those scenes. Why would they give Smee the disrespectful line, where he's like, have we been captained all this time by a bottom feeder? And I'm like, Smee would never say that about Captain Hook. He was like Captain Hook's faithful sidekick. He would never say anything like that. Like that line should have been another pirate's line, not Smee's line. That didn't make any sense. Carpe dinghy. Seize the dinghy. Oh, it's me. Wendy, you don't really seem that concerned about having to leave Peter to die. You're kind of like, oh, I'll just grab his kite, fly away. Like, he's dying. Another Hook commercial, just randomly holding out a note. It makes my life complete. That is literally the greatest thing. We changed that Ugga Wugg song to Blood Brothers. That was a little weird for me, because that was actually my favorite song when I was little, and I used to watch. I was like, this song is the most epic dance break ever. Like I said, I'm not good with change. I think that Kathy Rigby version won that song. The dance break in the Kathy Rigby version is epic. If you've never seen it, find it somewhere on the internet and watch it, because it's so cool. This whole Wendy Peter thing going on, this is like the original version of He's Just Not That Into You, isn't it? Why isn't Peter singing Distant Melody? Why? That bothers me. I don't like it. Oh, it's so Kelly O'Hara could sing it? Well, she is flawless, so I guess it's fine. Wendy, how can you be so sure that your mom and dad are gonna adopt all these random boys? Like, don't promise things that you can't be sure of. Like, geez, Wendy. I really like the new Peter solo, which apparently is an old Peter solo that was in an original version and then it got cut and nobody ever used it again, but then they brought it back for this. I don't know if that's true or if it's new or what the deal is, but I like it. It's really cool. It's really, like, a good way to kind of, you know, figure out Peter's background and kind of realize how immature he is and how much we need a character like Wendy, because, you know, if Peter was as logical as Wendy, he would have been like, you know, they probably locked the windows because their child went missing and they don't want their other child to go missing. Maybe I should knock at the door and see if they want me back in their lives. But Peter's immaturity, he took it as, windows are shut, they don't want me anymore, they replaced me, I'm gonna book it to Neverland with a little fairy named Tinkerbell. And yeah, so it was interesting to kind of see the difference between Wendy and Peter in maturity levels, and it was just cool. I liked it. I vote yes on the new song, A+. Peter, why would you say, me forget Like, it surprises you when you've been saying the whole show that you're a forgetful person. And now she says, oh, don't forget. And you're like, oh, me, forgetful? Psh. And I'm like, yes, because you told her that you were. How can that one lost boy be thinking about food when, like, people are literally being kidnapped right behind you? Your friends are being kidnapped by pirates. Literally every single lost boy that got kidnapped by a pirate pointed their feet. Just like the true sign of a dancer. You get kidnapped by a pirate, and when they lift you in the air, your feet are pointed. Can we just talk about the fact that they, like, gagged all the Lost Boys with, like, bandanas and socks and things, and slightly fell off, and Wendy put it back on for him? Wendy, if your child is being kidnapped by pirates, you don't reattach the thing tied around their mouth. You untie the thing. You try to save your children. Clap for Tinkerbell. Do it. Believe in fairies. Answer me, dogs. Woof. Meow. Woof. Meow. Woof. Meow. That was my kite pirate, wasn't it? Meowing in the corner. You should be holding the wheel with the hook, not with your wrist. That's... just saying. How come Peter's killing all these people and he's not crowing? That bothers me. You're supposed to crow. Was that a pirate named Cookie? The fight was kind of lame. I thought those two pirates went back to check what was back there and they all died. Why are they back to life fighting? Oh, Lost Boy, who puts a small little child in front of himself as a shield? He's like, he doesn't want to die, he just like shoves Michael in front of him. I'm like, no, that is not what you do. You kidnapped Michael's beloved teddy bear. Wendy, you just gave away the teddy bear to the kite pirate like 5 minutes ago. Who are you to yell at me for kidnapping the bear when you just gave away Michael's beloved teddy bear? I saw the flying rig thing, the thingy at the top that's holding the wires. I saw it. Did we just do like a Hook fist bump thing? Because I liked that. Hook, you killed Michael's beloved teddy bear. Like, jeez. That's ruthless. I love the part where Hook is walking to the plank and the crocodile's there and he's like, don't rush me. And the crocodile's just like, is there anything you can't do? Yeah, Peter can't do something. He can't take a hint that you and Tiger Lily and Tinkerbell have a crush on him. So yes, Wendy, there are things Peter can't do. Pirates don't seem that thrilled about going to London. Everybody's like, oh, we're ready to go to London, and all the pirates are on the ship like, I don't remember signing up for this. I'd rather just stay on the... No, okay, we'll go to London. Ah, now I know why we wrote that song for Wendy, so that the mom could have a reprise, so that we could hear Kelly O'Hara's beautiful voice again. I approve. Why are the parents just so chill about all these, like, random boys just, like, showing up at their house, like, oh, we know your kids. Like, our kids have been missing for, like, a month, and you've been with them this whole time. Wendy, why are you friends with so many boys? Oh, well, no, we'll just adopt them, it's fine. That was so cute, though, when they came in and were like, can we hang our stockings with your stockings? I was like, oh, yes, you can. It's so cute. Can we just talk about the perfection of that dog barking, like, exactly on cue, too? Because he was like me, woof, woof. And I was like, oh, my goodness. It's, like, to the beat of the music and everything. This dog is perfect. Also, I want to live in a family where it's family tradition that every daughter gets to go to Neverland for spring cleaning time. Because, like, yes, I want to go to Neverland. So that's my review of Peter Pan Live. So just leave a comment below what you guys thought of Peter Pan Live, and if there's anything that I said that you agree with, disagree with, let me know your opinions. Let me know if there's anything I forgot to mention, and yeah, we'll have a discussion. It'll be cool. And also like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Catch you in Neverland. Bye. But I wanted to look Disney festive, but I think I just look really distracted by these ears.